Hey, if you're a step-parent, you know that the love you have for your stepchild is absolutely real. But when you want to make that bond legally permanent, it brings up this one huge and, let's be honest, kind of stressful question. Do you really need the other biological parent's consent? It's a question that can feel like a giant roadblock, but trust me, understanding your legal options is the very first step to getting some peace of mind. So let's break down exactly how Alabama law handles this.
Hi, I'm Sam Bone, and this guide comes directly from the work my father Danny and I do every single day at our law firm, Dani V and Sam D. Bone, attorneys at law. We help families all across Alabama navigate this exact situation.
For so many families, this single question about consent can feel like the biggest hurdle standing in your way. But your goal, it's simple, right? You just want to provide stability and permanence for a child you already love as your own. And the law absolutely provides a way to do that.
I want you to know you are not alone in asking this. It is one of the most common questions we hear from clients. And the good news is, Alabama law has really clear pathways forward, even when things feel messy or complicated. So let's walk through them together. And just a quick heads up before we dive in, while this explainer covers the general rules, every family situation is totally unique. The little details always matter. So think of this as your starting point, and for specific advice on your case, you can call us anytime at 256-547-1005.
All right, let's start with the most direct route for a step-parent adoption, which is simply getting consent. When everybody is on the same page, the process can actually be pretty smooth.
So under Alabama law, it's really clear who needs to agree. Generally, you need consent from two key people. First, the other biological parent, the one who isn't married to the step-parent. And second, the child themselves, if they're 14 years old or older.
In a perfect world, the process is pretty straightforward. The other parent signs a formal written consent form. The child does the same if they're old enough. And with those documents in hand, the adoption petition can move forward without any major hiccups in court. It's the ideal scenario. But we all know reality is often a lot more complicated than that, right? What happens when the other parent is just gone, or they're uncooperative, or you literally can't find them? This is a situation we see all the time, and it's exactly why the law provides another path. So, the second path is built on a really important legal idea. Consent is not always an absolute black and white requirement. Alabama law gets that a parent's actions, or sometimes their complete lack of action, can speak way louder than words. This legal concept is called implied consent, and all it means is that a court can decide that a parent has effectively consented to the adoption just by their behavior, even if you don't have their signature on a piece of paper. The whole idea is that parental rights come with parental responsibilities. So how does a court make that call? Well, it looks for specific reasons or grounds. A huge one is abandonment. This means the parent has had no significant contact with the child and hasn't provided any support for at least 6 months before you file for adoption. Another is just failing to provide support even when they could have. And finally, if they're properly served with a legal notice about the adoption and they just don't respond within 30 days, their consent can also be waived. These are really powerful tools for moving your family forward. Of course, and this is the important part, you can't just walk into court and say this happened. You have to prove it with clear, solid evidence. And honestly, this is exactly where having an experienced attorney becomes absolutely vital. At Dani V and Sam D. We know how to gather all the necessary proof and present a strong, compelling case to the judge. Okay, so what does the court process actually look like? I know it can sound intimidating, but let's just pull back the curtain and break it down into some clear, manageable steps. The official legal name for this is a termination of parental rights proceeding, and it is a very serious step because it permanently, legally, ends the relationship between the child and that other biological parent. The court's entire focus, its only focus, is on making sure that this step and the adoption that follows is truly in the child's best interest. Our job is to handle every single step of this legal journey for you. We draft and file the detailed petition with the court. We work right alongside you to collect all the evidence. We're talking text messages, school records, financial statements, anything that proves your case. We stand with you in court, and we make the argument to the judge about why this adoption is so crucial for your child's security and future. Look, this isn't just something we do on the side. It is a core part of our family law practice. We have navigated the Alabama court system for families just like yours time and time again. And believe me, that experience really matters. All right, so now you know about the two main paths, the one with consent and the one without. So what is the right next step for your family?
I think the most important thing to take away from all this is that the specific details of your situation mean everything. Was there maybe some contact? Was there a single support payment made a year ago? Trying to figure all this out on your own can lead to really costly mistakes and delays. Getting personalized legal advice from the get-go is essential.
Please don't let the what-ifs and all the legal questions stop you from taking this beautiful, incredibly important step. You are trying to build a secure and loving home for a child, and that is a goal worth fighting for, 100%. The absolute best way to replace all that uncertainty with real clarity is to talk with someone who does this every day. We invite you to call our firm, Dani V. Bone and Sam D. Bone, for a confidential consultation. Let's talk about it.
Your family's future is just too important to leave to chance or guesswork. Take that next step with confidence. Give us a call at 256-547-1005. We are here to help.